and welcome back, my fairies. I am Matsuyorific, and we are back with episode 23 of Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir Season 5 Revolution. And you guys, it is time for the beginning of the end. We only have 4 episodes left, including this one of Season 5. Not counting the special PSA episode that's supposed to air after the finale. I don't even know if we have dates for that yet, but we have dates for the finale. They will be out on July 1st. So look forward to those reviews on the 2nd and 3rd, or possibly later. We'll see, how the trailers are. If they do a trailer for both episodes together, or if it's just one per episode like usual. We'll see. Because I would expect them to be back to back. So I would expect them to do trailers for the 2 episodes together. But anyways, we're reviewing episode 23 today, not 25 and 26. So for those of you who are new to this channel, first of all, welcome. I like to do art instead of showing clips to avoid YouTube's copyright. So I hope you enjoy this picture of my OCs. Well, I believe today's art would be of Ladybug, Cat Noir, and my OC Starlight from What If Adrian Had a Twin Sister? And I think this might actually be the last bit of artwork that I need for part 6. I mean, I don't have a design for one of the villains, but I honestly don't even know what I would do for him. I'm also honestly kind of considering doing like a contest at the end of part 6 to see, what people might want to design for him. But I'll save that for the video itself. Because I think that would be kind of fun to do like a design contest. It's like, oh yeah, design, you guys get to design this villain, and then, the winner gets a free commission or something. Haven't figured everything out yet, but anyways, 23! Oh my gosh, Matsuyo, stop rambling. This is probably going to be a long review anyways. Oh my gosh, stop. So, in episode 22, we saw Chloe taking over Paris after her father abdicated. I don't know if that's the right word for a democracy, but he basically withdrew from his position and is no longer mayor. So Chloe comes in and is like, well, I'm gonna be mayor. And they don't really show anyone what's the word? They don't really show anyone rejecting her as mayor, which kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, because like that's not how politics work, especially in a democracy. You can't just step in and say, oh well, my daddy just stepped down, so I'm gonna be the mayor now. It's like, I'm hoping that this episode gives us a little more clarification, because I would be okay with this plot if they show that Chloe is using Gabriel's robots to intimidate people and say that people are actually not accepting of her, but she's using the robots to say, well, too bad, so sad, you're gonna have to listen to me anyways, otherwise I'll have these robots destroy everything. Now, if that's the case, I'll be okay with it. If they just show everyone outside of the school being totally okay with Chloe being the mayor, yeah, that's gonna put a real sour taste in my mouth for season 5. Because aside from the issues that I had with 21 being like super rushed and 22 having that WTF ending, season 5 has been so good so far. It's like, I would really hate to see them drop the ball at the most critical point of not just season 5, but the entirety of Miraculous up to this point, because this is supposed to be the season where they end this whole entire arc. This is the Hawkmoth arc, and it's supposed to be over at the end of this season. So, yeah, this is like a pretty critical point right now. Because like initially this was planned to be the series finale, but then they got to extend it for more seasons. Looking forward to that. But yeah, anyways, so we got to see from the trailer that Marinette and her friends are going to be protesting at the school. And Chloe is coming along basically just trying to intimidate them. And then we also see that Monarch is going to go out on his own. And something with the Turtle Miraculous, there are shelters around Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they tease, oh, Ladybug and Cat Noir are gonna de-transform in front of everybody. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a fake out. I mentioned this in my trailer review. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a fake out. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh yeah, and then also they're gonna do the little airport thing at the end where Adrian is getting on the plane and Marinette finds out while she's in her room that Adrian is leaving Paris, and we actually we'll get to see her prom dress. So I'm hoping we can like get a better view, because that angle that we saw before wasn't really the best angle, which is kind of a shame because I was kind of hoping to draw it, but I couldn't really get enough details to be able to draw it. But anyways, maybe I'll be able to after this episode. We'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop rambling now, because that's everything we know about the episode, and I'm gonna go watch the episode, and I will be right back. Okay, so, yeah. Headphone users, rest in peace, because, Okay, so, I guess I should get into actually reviewing the episode. So, it starts off, pretty much where we left off. Chloe still can't say democracy, and she's doing an interview. Gosh, that ending still has me. She's doing an interview talking about how Monarch, Ladybug, and Cat Noir are outlawed and everything, and she's putting on an act, with Lila directing her, of course, that she's going to be putting on elections, which seems to be how she's keeping the peace at the moment. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm not, this is only temporary, don't worry, I'm not actually usurping the mayoral seat. I'm just taking over for a hot minute until we can hold elections and get a new mayor in. Don't worry, I'm not going to become a total dictator. And then she basically becomes a total dictator. She goes to the school she first gets interviewed by Nadia, who asks her like, oh, is this gonna last for very long? And she's like, of course, of course not, we're gonna hold elections and everything. But then she goes to the school and she's being followed by a new set of reporters, which, yeah, again, it's like, what happened to Nadia and Clara? But we also get to see people talking about what's going on with Chloe, and there are some people that are on board with everything Chloe is saying, and then other people who are not. So I'm at least glad to see that there are some people that are like, a teenager as a mayor? Like, what is going on here? This is not right. Yeah, and I can somewhat understand why there are some people that are like, oh, well, Ladybug and Cat Noir are actually in league with Monarch and everything, because we do see in episode, I think it was 9, the episode with Joan of Arc, that, there are people that have been, spreading rumors and lies on the internet of Ladybug and Cat Noir actually being the villains. There are rumors of Monarch actually being the good guy wanting to make a wish for world peace, and Ladybug and Cat Noir trying to stop him. Very likely that Lila started those rumors online. But there's always going to be conspiracy theorists even without Lilas in the world. So I can kind of understand, actually, that, why there would be some people that are like, oh, this could actually be a good thing because Ladybug and Cat Noir aren't actually the good guys. Because we've seen that there are actually rumors online, so clearly those are just some of the conspiracy theorists. But we also see some people are like, this doesn't make any sense. We can't have a teenager as a mayor. So I am a lot more willing to accept this plot line now, because they make it a little bit more believable at the very least. And we also see Ladybug and Cat Noir. They're like, well, we need to do something. And I find it kind of interesting that as Ladybug and Cat Noir is the one saying, we need to do something. And Ladybug is the one saying, well, there's not really anything we can do because nobody's been akumatized, and we'll just wind up looking like the bad guys if we try to do anything. But then they de-transform, and Adrian is the one saying, well, we need to let the adults handle this, and Marinette is the one saying, no, we need to do something right now. But part of the reason why Adrian is saying let the adults handle this is because A, that's what Ladybug said. Let's hope that, some adult does something. So he's going off of what Ladybug said, and which is funny because Ladybug is Marinette. But he's also got his own problems to deal with because he still hasn't figured out how he's going to tell Marinette that he's leaving Paris. And he still thinks he's got a couple of days left. But then we find out later it's not actually the case. But we'll get to that later. So they agree to meet up at the school, and when Adrian gets to the school, he's ready to tell Marinette what's going on, but then finds that everybody's set up this protest at the school, demanding that Chloe reinstate Miss Bustier and Mr. Damocles, because Chloe's coming to the school to do more interviews and stuff. Well, because I think she's also there to attend school, but the rest of her class is like, no, we're protesting. We're not gonna go to class unless you do this. So she's like, well, fine, And she puts on a face for the news reporter. It's like, oh, this teacher is evil, and I fired them because they're evil and they're not good for the school. But if you guys want to join that, then I guess I can't really stop you. But that's oh my gosh, these guys are standing against me. How awful are they? Basically putting on the victim act for the camera. Oh, I almost forgot. Before this, we also get a scene of Monarch going to talk to Chloe, and it turns out that gaudy jacket she's wearing, that is her akumatized outfit. So Monarch akumatizes her, but he akumatizes her in a way that she doesn't look akumatized, so she still looks like herself, and puts all of the powers into the security drones, so that Chloe controls the drones, and it's like Chloe has the power, but she doesn't actually have the powers. So she secretly uses the drones to get rid of anyone who stands against her. At first it's just, oh, what happened to Milen and Ivan? And then one by one everybody starts disappearing. We also get more of Adrian just trying to tell Marinette, but she's just so distracted with dealing with Chloe that she doesn't really notice that Adrian is trying to tell her something. So he's just not able to tell her. Even when they go to Andre's, it's like they managed to get some ice cream from Andre the Ice Cream Man, and that's when we get a hint of Chloe that she's starting to do stuff. She threatens Andre that he needs a permit to sell the ice cream, and if not, he's going to detention. And at first you're like, detention? Really? For school? But then later we find out that there's an actual reason why she's calling it detention, and not just being arrested. So Adrian fails again to tell Marinette, and just but he's still determined to tell her. And Marinette, when she goes home, finds that her parents are missing, and that Chloe is there to greet her. She's like, yeah, I sent them to detention because they actually tried to charge me for chiquettes. So I sent them to detention, and I'm gonna send you too. Bye! So one of the drones appears because they have the power of invisibility, as well as the turtle power, the ox power, and the horsepower. So it turns visible, and and also the bee power. So it paralyzes Marinette, teleports her into an actual detention place, which isn't like a detention cell or anything. It's kind of like just this looping maze that just forces people to walk around in circles. Well, not really circles, because it's not a circle, but you know what I mean. So it's not even... It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go sit in the corner. But we're not in a corner, you're making us walk around. It's like, yeah. But basically it's like, I get the intention. Is to make it seem like they're in a never-ending hallway and they're just, gonna be walking forever. But we don't actually get to see that until later on. Adrian goes to try and talk to Marinette again, but finds that she's missing. But he does see her helmet from her bike and realizes that something happened to her. And then he finds a flyer for Chloe's rule, and it's like, Chloe. So he goes to confront Chloe, ask her what she did with Marinette and all of the other people. And Chloe's like, oh, I sent them to detention, and if you don't want me to send you to detention, or to tell Marinette that you're leaving Paris because I know about that, you're gonna be my deputy mayor. It's like, I don't think that's how mayors work. It's like, it's like, you're gonna be my deputy mayor. He's like, no, I would never join you. She's like, okay, fine, you can go be with your precious baker girl, and basically sends Adrian to detention, and that's when we see the detention loop. I'll just call it the detention loop. So Adrian calls out to Marinette, and Marinette's like, oh my gosh, it's Adrian. And for some reason, even though Marinette and Alia are together and they're alone together, for some reason it's not until Adrian calls out that Marinette is like, oh, you know what? We need to escape from here, so let's create a distraction so that I can transform into Ladybug. Why didn't you do that before? Like, she was already alone with Alia, but it's not until Adrian arrives that she's like, oh yeah, I need to transform. That's right. So Marinette, Alia, and Adrian, who's separate from them, start destroying everything to cause a distraction, and they manage to get the panels down so that they can hide and transform. So Cat Noir creates, does Cataclysm into the sewers, and then everybody else is like, oh hey, we can escape from here. So the people that are in the detention loop are able to escape. So he goes, finds a place to de-transform, and then changes back to go meet up with Ladybug. And they interrupt Chloe's speech about, oh, we're gonna hold elections, but, I'm sure nobody would even dare to run against me. And then Ladybug and Cat Noir are like, this isn't a democracy. We're gonna show you the real meaning of it, and we're gonna teach you how to say democracy. I love that part. It's like, we're gonna teach you how to say the word democracy. That was actually pretty funny. Nice cap off on the joke that Chloe can't say democracy because she doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know the meaning of the word, so she can't say it. But that's when Chloe reveals that she has been akumatized, and she traps Ladybug and Cat Noir. But the part that we saw in the trailer where they're de-transforming slowly wasn't a dramatic effect. They were changing back slowly because Marinette and Adrian have matured so much that they've basically grown up, which on one hand you want to say, well, I mean, they're only 15, they're not that grown up yet, but on the other, it's like, yeah, being Ladybug and Cat Noir kind of has forced them to grow up faster than they should. They're not ready to be adults yet, but they pretty much have to act like it for the sake of Paris. So they managed to slow down their detransformation, and that's when Ladybug tells everyone, I was wrong, and we shouldn't have, held off. But we're not the only ones who can fight back. We might not be able to be superheroes much longer, but we're not the only ones who can fight. You guys have been fighting all along. Some of you have been fighting in secret as miraculous holders, but everyone has been fighting just by resisting Monarch. And you guys, so basically she inspires everybody to rise up and help them to fight back against Chloe so that they can, overpower her and save Ladybug and Cat Noir. And that's when Ladybug, talks to Cat Noir. He's still kind of depressed, aside from everything that's going on with him trying to tell Marinette. It's like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is really it. It was a pleasure to know you, milady. And he has such a hard time finding the right words. And that's when she's able to inspire him to be like, it's not over yet. We can, we can fight this. And they actually manage to keep themselves from detransforming, and then they re-transform back into their full transformed selves and have basically unlocked their adult powers. Now, any other time, I would say this is kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but this was actually hinted to us before. We got hints of this in the original Bunnix episode, Time Tagger, where we find out that as adults, they don't have to detransform anymore to use their powers again. And it's like, oh, well, Bunnix is able to use her powers as many times as she wants because she's an adult. And we also get confirmation that, that's how Hawkmoth works as well. That, he doesn't have to change back every time because he's an adult. Well, because they've matured enough to the point that they've grown up too fast, so now they're basically adults, mentally. Again, they're 15, but being superheroes has forced them to mature faster than what's normal, but that's kind of typical of these kid hero shows. The kid hero or teen hero in this case, has to grow up faster than one would expect because that's, the kind of the responsibility that's been put on them. And it's not fair, but it's like, it kind of turns out to be the case. It usually winds up with them having a lot of emotional trauma, like Steven or Marinette, but it happens in a lot of these shows, and it's like, yeah, they've had to mature a lot faster than they should have. It's sad, but it's realistic. Kind of like kids who are forced to take care of their families when they're way too young because their parents are absolute trash. So that forces them to grow up a lot faster than they should have. It happens in real life too. Just because you're not a superhero doesn't mean you can't have situations that are going to force you to grow up too fast, because it happens. It's life, unfortunately, for some people. But anyways, they managed to retain their transformations, and now they can use their powers as much as they want without changing back. So Cat Noir cataclysms the shelter, and then cataclysms everything else. So he cataclysms all the robots, and is able to get them free and everything. And because of everybody revolting, that causes Gabriel and Tomoe, who were just sitting in the crowd ready for Ladybug and Cat Noir to detransform, that caused them to retreat. but it also causes Tomoe to drop her laptop, which is what she was going to use to override Chloe and take control of the robots, which then Lila picks up. And we see at the end of the episode that she's starting to tamper with it, so it's very likely that in the next episode she will completely take over those robots because she has the power to do so now. We also, things finally settle down and we see that Chloe is being taken away by her father, who's like, I'm gonna take responsibility for my daughter for once. She's grounded. And it's like, don't worry, Ladybug, I'll handle my daughter. It's like, oh my gosh, you're being a father. Thank you. Finally. Of course, Audrey is also upset with Chloe, but for completely different reasons as Andre. Audrey is upset with Chloe because she had all that power and then she lost it. So she's upset with Chloe for losing. Andre's upset with Chloe for becoming a dictator. Audrey is upset with Chloe for losing her dictatorship. Oh man, I really hope Andre and Audrey get divorced. Like, I imagine that Andre would probably take custody of Zoe. I hope that Andre adopts Zoe, especially if he and Audrey do get divorced. It's so hard to say Andre and Audrey. See, it's so hard to say. Their names are so similar. Oh my goodness. But anyways, so Audrey is now taking Chloe to London by herself. It's just the two of them, and it's not even as a reward or anything. It's to punish Chloe. And Chloe decides that she's going to take one last bit of revenge. But before we get to that, we have the last bit for Adrianette. So Adrian goes home and Gabriel tells him, you're leaving Paris now. Pack your bags, we're going to London now. And Adrian's like, but tonight's the dance. I was gonna go with Marinette. It's like, no, you're going now. So Adrian is unable to go to the dance with Marinette and goes to pack his bags. And Plag is like, your powers have evolved. This is great. You're an adult. You should stand up to your father. And it's like, I can't. I want to believe that I'm an adult. And for your sake and Marinette's, I'll believe that. But, I can't disobey my father. Which, he literally can't. And we even see Natalie, regretting what's going on. It's like, you can't disobey your father. Obviously, he literally can't. That's why she's saying that. But never let anyone tell you who to love. Basically encouraging him to continue loving Marinette, no matter what his father says. And I don't know if she was using the Alliance for that or not, but if she did, then I hope so. I hope that's like a permanent order, a permanent command, that nobody can ever tell Adrian to stop loving Marinette. But, Adrian even tries to resist his father, but they've got the child locks on in the car, so he literally can't get out of the car, which is unfortunate. There was a part of me that was almost like, is he gonna transform and cataclysm the door? Be like, by the way, I'm also Cat Noir, and I'm leaving now. I'm running away. Cataclysm the door and leave. But it's like, yeah, he can't really do that. Yeah, he calls Marinette and finally tells her. And we get to see Marinette's dress, and I have to say, I'm a little confused why they chose to go with a skull design on her dress. Like, I was getting, Dia des Muertos. Oh my goodness, I just completely butchered that. I was getting Day of the Dead vibes from her dress. It's like, this is prom and she's not Spanish. She's Chinese French. She's not Spanish. Why is her dress giving off Day of the Dead vibes? But anyways, like you'd think those would be flowers, not skulls. But he finally tells Marinette and she collapses in her room. But then says, you know what? No, this can't be it. And she goes to rush to the airport to do the airport scene. And when Adrian hears her calling out for him, his bodyguard buckles him in, but then they hear Marinette, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna unbuckle you, go say goodbye to Marinette. Obviously doesn't say anything, he just, unbuckles him. And Adrian goes out, and he and Marinette finally kiss. Like, oh, of course they saved the kiss for the airport scene. But it's so bittersweet because Gabriel freaks out and tells the airport worker to separate them. And so the airport worker and Adrian's bodyguard physically pull Marinette and Adrian away from each other. Like, they're holding on to each other with that kiss. Like, they're going long. But then when they finally are forced to separate, they even try to hold on to each other's hands. It's like, oh, they're so desperate not to let each other go. But then Adrian is forced back onto the plane, and they leave, and Marinette just starts crying. And that's when Chloe calls her, and is like, well, I've still got one last thing to tell you. Adrian's leaving Paris. Haha, he's going to London. He's never gonna see you again. And it's like, I already know, Chloe. You really are pathetic. You're ridiculous. You're utterly ridiculous. You're not gonna hold power over any of us anymore. You're powerless now. And that is what causes Chloe to finally break down and start crying. And it's like, yeah, she's lost everything. When she was getting ready to call Marinette, we even see her about to call Sabrina. And I kind of wish that we could have gotten a little bit more Chloe development, because my headcanon has always been that Chloe is actually jealous of Marinette, because Marinette has everything that Chloe doesn't. Yes, Chloe has money, but Marinette has parents who love her unconditionally. She has friends who adore her. She has Adrian's love. She has everything that Chloe doesn't have. Everything that actually matters. And that's always been my headcanon as to why Chloe picks on Marinette, especially why she targets Marinette specifically, is that she's actually jealous of Marinette. But unfortunately, because Thomas Astruc hates her as a character, we don't get that kind of development. So yeah, this is probably going to be the last we see of Chloe, unless they do for some reason bring her back in high school, but we'll see. We will see. It looks like Lila's probably going to be the main villain after this. But anyways, so that's pretty much the end of the episode. And we also after that we get the scene of Lila breaking into the computer, but I already mentioned that before. So yeah, next episode is episode 24. And you guys did vote, and I'll be doing a review of the trailer for episode 24 first. So look forward to seeing that video tomorrow. Actually no, not tomorrow. I'm probably gonna post that later today, and then post the review for episode 24 tomorrow, just so I can get that out as soon as possible. So I hope you guys look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and I'll sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy that stuff, then be sure to ring the bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.